It was 2:30 in the morning on February 16th, 2026. The temperature in Tipp City, Ohio, was hovering just above freezing for most of the residents on Cunningham Court. It was a night of deep, undisturbed sleep, but for one household, the silence was about to be shattered by a sound that would change everything. A frantic voice on the other end of a 911 line. A man hyperventilating so hard the dispatcher can barely understand him. That man was Caleb Flynn. Someone broke into my home. He screams. My wife, she's got 2 shots to her head. There's blood everywhere. When the first officers from the Tipp City Police Department arrived minutes later, they didn't find a cold-blooded killer standing over a body. They found a man who appeared to be a shell of himself. Caleb Flynn, a man known to millions for his soulful voice and humble spirit, was collapsed on the floor, crying out for Jesus and begging for his wife to be okay. But within hours, the veteran investigators on the scene began to feel a creeping sense of unease. Something about the robbery felt curated. Something about the garage door felt wrong. This is the story of the digital footprints that lead to a stage-managed murder and the tragic fall of a man who once had the world at his feet. To understand the shock this sent through the Ohio community, you have to understand who Ashley and Caleb Flynn were. Ashley wasn't just a victim. She was a pillar, a 37-year-old middle school teacher, and a beloved volleyball coach for the Tippecanoe School District. Neighbors describe her as the kind of person who delivered Christmas cookies to every house on the cul-de-sac. She was a mother to 2 young daughters, girls who were, according to 911 logs, asleep in their rooms just down the hall while their mother's life was being taken. And then there was Caleb. In 2013, the world met Caleb on season 12 of American Idol. He wasn't a flashy pop star type. He was a music pastor, the good guy. Insert AI voice reflection. In his audition, he looked directly into the camera and said, I love my wife more than anything. She is very, very pretty. I love her. For over a decade, they lived that public brand. They were the wonderful, active neighbors. They had the 2 golden doodles. They had the volleyball net in the backyard. They were the perfect Christian family. But as any true crime student knows, the more perfect the exterior, the more pressure builds behind the walls. Let's look at the evidence that the Tipp City Police and the FBI, who joined the case almost immediately, began to aggregate. Caleb's story was this. An intruder entered through the side garage door. He claimed he found that door wide open. But when Chief Greg Adkins looked at that door, he saw a physical impossibility. There was a large refrigerator positioned directly in front of that door. To open it from the outside, an intruder would have had to push the massive appliance across the floor. Yet, there were no marks on the linoleum, no dust disturbed. The fridge was exactly where it belonged. Then, the investigators turned to the 2024 Ford truck in the garage. In 2026, your car knows more about you than your therapist does. Caleb told police his 9mm handgun was stored in the truck's center console. He claimed he only went for it after hearing the shots. But the digital forensics told a different story. The truck's internal computer logged the console being accessed nearly 10 minutes before the 911 call was placed. Furthermore, the data showed no seat sensors being triggered for an intruder entering or exiting to the garage area. The only movement the house recorded was Caleb's. By February 19th, just 82 hours after the shooting, the grieving husband narrative collapsed. The police didn't just charge Caleb with murder. They added 2 counts of tampering with evidence. Why? Because they believed Caleb spent those critical minutes, while his wife lay dying and his daughters slept, moving items, opening doors, and staging a robbery that never happened. During his video arraignment from the Miami County Jail, the contrast was jarring. The man who once stood on a Hollywood stage was now in a green jumpsuit. his voice trembling as he told the judge, "I just want to take care of my daughters. I'm not a risk." But the judge saw a $2 million risk. And then the final piece of the puzzle, the life insurance. Shortly after the arrest, it was revealed that Caleb was a primary beneficiary of a massive policy. Ashley's family has since taken legal action to ensure not a single cent of that money reaches the man accused of taking her life. As we wait for the March 26 hearing, Tipp City remains in mourning. The volleyball court where Ashley coached is empty. Her 2 daughters are now facing a life without a mother and a father who is a primary suspect in her death. This case serves as a chilling reminder. In an age where our cars, our phones, and our homes are always watching, the truth is harder to hide than ever. Caleb Flynn thought he was given performance of his life that night. He didn't realize the audience was actually a series of digital sensors that don't lie. Rest in peace, Ashley Flynn. If you found this deep dive helpful, please leave a comment below. What do you think was the biggest mistake Caleb made? Subscribe for the full coverage of the trial starting March 26.